Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the live panel, Where Will Entrepreneurship and Economics Take Me? We are now live at the atrium of our very own business building. We are excited to bring to you NUS BBA E-Open House, Be Agile BU, at NUS Business School, where you enjoy the journey of self-discovery and discover skills to be career-ready. We have an exciting series of live programs lined up for you today, so do check our program schedule on our website if you haven't already done so. I'm Katrina, a Year 4 BBA student specializing in marketing. With me in this session, I have Professor Lawrence Low, the Entrepreneurship Professor, Mr. Mark Gan, a Biz Economics instructor, as well as Justin Yeo in Biz Careers, as well as Evan Heng, who is a BBA Year 3 student, to share with you more today. So we'll have each of you to do a quick introduction to yourself, starting with you.
Hello everybody, my name is Lawrence Low. I'm a professor in the Strategy and Policy Department at this school, and I've been quite involved in strategy modules as well as sustainable business module. In my hobby, I am, sometimes I act as advisor to several startups, and I've been very involved in the executive development of SMEs in sustainable business. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Mark. I'm an instructor at the Department of Strategy and Policy. I teach business economics, especially the two main core modules. So prospective students, in fact, I would say majority of all business school students, once you're in business school for at least the first year and second year, you will most likely, or in fact, see me for at least 2 years or 2 semesters.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Justin. I'm a career advisor at Biz Careers. So I take care of the undergraduate side, liaising with recruiters who are giving job and internship opportunities for our students, as well as giving career advisory to students. Outside of work, I like to volunteer for my community, as well as do spin classes.
Hi everyone, my name is Evan. I'm a Year 3 BBA student. I'm specializing in the Entrepreneurship and Innovation specialization. On my free time, I actually run 2 different companies. So the first one is actually a chain of tuition centers, and the second one I'm actually running an edutech startup where we are currently still in our stealth stage. Yes.
Yep, thanks everyone for your introductions. So in this session, we'll explore how our specializations equip students towards various career pathways. And now NUS Business School offers 7 specializations for students to choose from. And today we'll be focusing specifically on business economics as well as innovation and entrepreneurship. So today with my panelists, we will specifically look into this and to find out the various career pathways that students may consider. So I'm sure many of you have questions considering like business economics, entrepreneurship, and their respective career pathways. So do keep your questions coming in our Facebook live comment section, and we will do our best to answer them as much as possible. So to start off with Professor Lawrence Low, so perhaps you can tell us more about the Entrepreneurship Economics specialization and how it relates to real-world business problems.
Yes, thank you, Katrina. I think as probably all of us know, we are now in a new knowledge-based economy where there's a lot of disruption and a need for transformation. So I believe this new specialization in innovation and entrepreneurship is very, very timely and critical for many of our students, our graduates, to move into this new era where we need a totally new mindset and new way of thinking about business. So this entrepreneurship module is actually based in the strategy department, and basically we want our graduates in this specialization, first of all, to take on the role of innovators as well as entrepreneurship. But I must say and emphasize that being an entrepreneur or innovator is not necessarily the end point for many of our graduates who want to specialize in this. Perhaps I can say more later on. Let me pass on to my colleagues.
Yeah, so thanks so much for your answer. So I think definitely it's very important that not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur, but you can even explore like entrepreneurship and many other innovative areas. So addressing the next question to Evan, so what was an interesting project that you had, and why do you find it interesting?
Within NUS, is it?
Yeah, within your NUS major.
I think generally most of the modules I've been taking in the recent years have all been entrepreneurship related. I think I've taken all the the majority of the 3 key modules, and I think one key project that stands out is in these modules, generally you want to come up with a new startup idea. So you go through the entire phase of ideation, thinking of your go-to-market strategy and how you're going to execute the entire idea. So I think one project that I worked on was actually a home fitness startup. So that was actually quite interesting because they actually invited a lot of adjunct professors down from Google, from all the top startups and VCs, and to actually come down to give talks on a weekly basis. And it really gave us a lot of insight in terms of how do you actually build a company from scratch? How do you really go from ground zero all the way up to a successful unicorn? And I think along the way, when we really did this project, eventually we got to pitch to a panel of Google staff, and I think it was just a very, very rewarding and enriching experience, because I think it's very, very rare that in the real world you get these opportunities to actually pitch to VCs, to pitch to esteemed entrepreneurs, and you really get a lot of feedback, a lot of insight, and I think that has been one of the key highlights that I have had taking entrepreneurship in NUS.
Yep, thanks for your answer. So definitely, like in the entrepreneurship major, you do get exposure to working with real clients for projects, and I think the experience that you gain out of it is really valuable. So the next question I want to address is to Mr. Mark Gunn. So how do classes in NUS Business School prepare students for the real world and to be industry relevant?
Okay, so especially in my classes, because where I teach business economics, the focus is for students is for application. So in terms of the materials that we teach, we want students to be able to apply some of the stuff or the concepts that we teach them from theoretical or from quantitative methods, so that they will be useful to them when they graduate. They will be able to apply to their jobs, or perhaps if in the perspective of finding having their own startups and so forth. So the emphasis here for students is that we do certainly hope that students are able to think out of the box, and as well as we try not to emphasize so much on rote memorization, because we understand that a lot of students, especially who come through the university, they perhaps at the tertiary level, at the college level, a lot of students, especially most of our local students, they always think that memorization is always the way, and through memorization and through practice, they will be able to do well. But once you come to university, especially for my classes, is that there is this whole emphasis that we want to push you, and we want you to think out of the box. We want to think beyond what we cover in the textbooks, and so that you'll be able to make informed decisions for yourself, as well as apply what we teach you, and that will help you once upon when you graduation, and prepare you for whatever the career prospects that you have.
Thanks for your answer. So I think it's definitely important to always think out of the box in whatever you are learning. Okay, so the next question is to Mr. Justin Yeo. So can you tell us more about the internship and career placement program?
Sure. For the past year, in fact, we have about 1,008 internship placements for our year 2s and year 3s. There are over 9,000 internship opportunities that are posted on NUS Talent Connect for students to pick from. So we do see that a lot of students, in fact, in their year 2s and year 3s, they have 2 internships completed. In fact, these days, it's not uncommon to see someone with 3 or 4 internships when they graduate. So the top 5 industries are in banks, ICTs, FMCGs, consultancy, and accountancy. But we see more and more students interested in startups as well. So we definitely encourage students to try out through internship, through relevant experience, understanding what they like, what they don't, the strengths and weaknesses as well. So this is how we always encourage students to go for these internships program. From Biz Careers wise, we prepare them. So there are career starter workshops and clinics, help them in terms of preparing resume, how to network, as well as even interview skills. We hope that they are confident and they know how to package themselves, bring out their best qualities in whichever career progression or where they would like to have their career at.
Yeah, thanks for your answer. So I've also taken part in the career preparation workshops, and I think it has been a really great help to me and many other students, where we can improve our resume and also practice our interview skills with each other. So the next question is to Evan, since Mr. Justin Yeo mentioned about doing a lot of internships. Yeah. So do you find internships compulsory in your major, and have you been doing things relating to it?
I think ultimately there are a few different goals that you might want out of getting an internship. I would say that if you're a year 1, year 2 student, what's very, very important is exposure, especially because the business degree actually gives you a lot of pathways that you can actually pick from. So I have a lot of friends in consultancy, in finance, like investment banking, sales and trading, and I have a lot of friends in startups as well. So I would say that ultimately when you enter NUS, you might have something in mind in terms of the kind of career that you want to pursue, but ultimately there's a lot of different options available. So I think I would echo his thoughts and say it's very important for you to try as many internships as you can, really get exposed to all the different types of jobs that you can potentially go into. And I feel like NUS does give a lot of opportunities, and a lot of different programs are set up in order to help you to do so. So I'll say that for entrepreneurs like myself, I think the NOC program by NUS is a very, very interesting program, which was actually the reason why I chose NUS over other business schools, because it actually gives us the opportunity to go overseas and do internships at startups while also still studying and getting our module credit. So I'll say that the environment in NUS has a lot of different internship opportunities available. I'll say I myself, I haven't really done any internship per se because I've been working full-time for the last 3 years, but I think all my friends in NUS have all told me that it's really, really very satisfying that there's so many opportunities all around them, and that they're really spoiled for choice in NUS.
Yep, so thanks so much for your answers, and I think definitely apart from internships, there's many other areas that you can really enrich yourself in NUS Business School, whether it's doing your own startup or taking part in co-curricular activities. Okay, so my next question is to Mr. Mark Gan. So what do you think is unique about the NUS BBA curriculum that grooms students to be business leaders?
Okay, so for the curriculum, I understand that there is the students now are able to take up more electives. They are able to dabble more into different various fields of modules, not just restricted within the business-centric specialization. So, and because if you know that if we're within the business specialization, there are a couple of degrees programs like specialization like finance, accounting, marketing and so forth. And now with the new curriculum, I understand that students are able to take up modules from these other different specializations as well to make them all-rounded, and so as to able to gain more knowledge on these different fields. As you all know, business itself is a very big, wide spectrum. And so with students are able to take up more modules from these different specializations, or perhaps even more electives from outside of business modules, they will be able to be, I would say, in a way more holistic. Perhaps they're able to have more knowledge. They're able to apply this knowledge then when they go out to the real world. Because after all, as you have seen how the real world is nowadays, being very focused in one particular field will help you, but it may not be enough, given that we are in a very globalized environment, and there's a lot of emphasis on different areas. So it is, I would say that this curriculum provides a really holistic and all-rounded perspective for students, such that students will be able to acquire different knowledges from different specializations and perhaps different fields of studies, and that will actually make them much better and more prepared, especially when you go out to the workforce.
So I think that's a really good point that you brought up, that the curriculum is really holistic. So definitely when you are in year 1, you take a lot of introductory modules that exposes you to the different specializations. So I really did enjoy learning about economics, entrepreneurship in the various modules itself. So for Professor Lawrence Low, what advice will you give incoming students to the NUS Business Program who's thinking about what majors to choose and whether to consider NUS Business School?
Oh yes, obviously I think if we want to move into business education for undergrad level, NUS Business School is, I think, the obvious choice. I think we will certainly welcome you to join us, this big family of budding leaders, not only in the business sector but in various sectors of Singapore and beyond. And of course, we are armed with plenty of very exciting specialization that you can take individually or even in pairs. And I must say, in particular, if you choose, say, the innovation and entrepreneurship specialization, you actually poise yourself to be useful not only in startups, but actually across a wide spectrum of organization, because this whole training, structured exposure and experience in this specialization will put you into all organizations, all companies, because these skills and mindset will be very relevant in all aspects of what you do in the business world.
Okay, thank you. So perhaps we can have one more person to share about the closing statements. So, okay, I'll just get into actually the closing itself. So So time is catching up with us. So unfortunately, that's all that we can cover for the session itself. But not to worry. As mentioned, we have several more live programs lined up. So do stay tuned for our next session on finance, analytics, and operations, starting in 10 minutes. So there's also lots to explore on our website, including the FAQs, program briefing clips, and curriculum details. So feel free to email us or leave your questions in our Facebook Live comment section. We will do our best to address them. And thank you so much to each and every one of you for sharing your answers.